Love and relationships are at the heart of my magical practice. Hi, my name is RZ. This is Cult of the Divine. Here we talk about ecstatic witchcraft, folk magic, and plant medicine. So, for today's topic, I want to talk about relationship and how building relationships with spirits is really nourishing and a very deep way to build a relationship with the unseen world. I'm going to be talking about one plant spirit in particular, or a mushroom spirit in this case, the Amanita muscaria mushroom. And I brought a little dried piece so I could show you. And this is a mushroom spirit that is a very potent ally to form a bond with. Now, there are lots of ways to work with spirits. So, in many traditions, there is this idea that you call in a spirit just to do something with you. You might ally with it for a period of time to work on something in your own personal life. And then there's another realm of spirit work where you slowly over time are cultivating a relationship with that entity, with that being. And this is where I really thrive because I am a lover and I just love to build relationships of all kinds. And my spirit relationships are some of my most enduring and beloved relationships that I've had in my life. So, my relationship with Amanita muscaria spirit um, began in 2020 when I adventured into the poisonous plant medicine training with Catherine Soley. And I'll link her work below. Her website, I think, is called Persephone's Path. And she was the one who introduced me to the Amanita muscaria mushroom. And when I first encountered this spirit, I was adamant that I would never, ever be ingesting it. That seemed terrifying to me. And a couple of years later, I just kept having persistent dreams about the Amanita muscaria to the point where I was like, oh, I need to take this medicine. And it's, let's see, yeah. So in 2022, July of 2022, I went to a ceremony that was ran by Amanita Dreamer and had Amanita muscaria, or like a one-on-one experience with that mushroom. And it definitely changed the course of my life and redirected my path in a way that was very necessary to the witchcraft, plant medicine journey that I've been on. So, the thing I really want to talk about is the relationship that has been built. So, like any relationship, it started more distant, where Amanita seemed like a very distant character in my life, to now where Amanita muscaria is the spirit I can call on and connect with in a more personal way. And if I start drifting away in my life, I know I can come to Amanita muscaria's medicine, connect with Amanita as a friend, and understand what I need to do next or what my deepest healing or move would be for my path. And Amanita is a very powerful, powerful spirit. So I'm not suggesting anyone out there take this medicine or even work with it unless it feels right for you, and to always do proper research and understand that Amanita can have really serious effects on your physical body and can be is toxic. So unless it's prepared properly or you're taking it in the right dose, like you can get very sick. So you do need to have discernment and can just rush into imbibing this medicine. And I think that's the next point I want to make is one thing I learned from Catherine in her classes was that moving slowly is its own kind of virtue in the plant medicine world. And just like cultivating a deep and lasting relationship takes time, so does building proper relationships with nature. And I have an Aries moon, and I don't know if this is why I am the way I am, but I love to rush. I love to go as fast as possible. I have little patience a lot of the time, and I could just sometimes I just dive headfirst into things without much research or forethought, thinking I'm following instinct, but really I'm following impulse. And it's something I work on because it is not always like the result isn't always what I truly desire. And when you're working with magic and power and the spirits, things tend to happen very quickly and in very dramatic ways. And so, whereas I can appreciate chaotic primordial forces, I also know that tempering them is its own kind of wisdom, and not losing myself to those great forces is an important part of my path as a witch, and maybe yours too. So, in cultivating my relationship with Amanita muscaria, I genuinely took my time. And I think this is one of the reasons why this relationship is so enduring for me and has been so fruitful and so loving and caring, because of the deep connection I was able to cultivate. And every time I have a dream about Amanita, it's always like the most ecstatic dream, and it just reiterates or like reveals to me the kind of pure nature of my relationship with this mushroom, and kind of like an innocence I have towards it that makes it just flow and just be like one of the most beautiful aspects of my plant relationships. So you can build those kinds of relationships with any spirits that you are working with. And some spirits are more easy to build relationships than others. Some are closer to us. Nature spirits feel especially open to that. Plant spirits and things that are here. So like on earth, like rocks and trees, mountains, they're really available. Their spirits are in us as we are in them. So it makes it the interface of building that relationship available, very available to our consciousness. And it's possible to build relationships with all kinds of deities and goddesses and gods and angels and all sorts of things. So when you start to embark on these relationship building spirit work types of witchcraft, you'll find that taking your time is powerful and sometimes necessary to avoid chaos, to avoid insult. An example might be if you're just meeting someone and they like come over for tea and then are like, oh, I'm just going to stay here for dinner, and you just met them and you're not ready to cook them dinner, or you don't know them well enough to know what foods they like. And then you accidentally make them meat and they're a vegetarian or something. And then there's kind of like, it's not on purpose, but it's like this kind of awkward, like, oops, we got too close too fast moment. And it can be similar with spirits. So you want to just be slow, learn what that spirit likes as offerings, or no offerings in some cases. I found that angelic spirits don't really want offerings from us, whereas Faery really requires it in order to bridge the gaps between our world and their world. So you'll discover these things as you hone your intuition and your discernment around spirit work. It makes a huge difference in knowing who you're connected to, what the purpose of your work together is, and why that spirit and you have any connection at all. And you'll find what spirits maybe you don't connect with. And that's okay. In every life, we're working on different things, and different orientations and spirits will be in our magical work. So that was a little kind of winding ramble, I guess, today on my thoughts around spirit building and spirit relationships, and how to cultivate relationships from the heart and from a space of love, and always bringing you back to that, to the heart and what feels right and what you're perceiving. And that is where the true discernment will be cultivated. Thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe if you want to hear more about ecstatic witchcraft, folk magic, and plant medicine. I also wanted to let you all know that I'm offering plant spirit magic sessions where we would go over some of the plants that might be supportive for your path, and tune into the unseen realms to see which plants are around you as allies, or which might be good for you to use in ritual, magical practice, and ceremony. And each session will come with a handcrafted herbal medicine for you, either as a cordial or as a tea. And I'm very excited to be offering this. I have been studying plant medicine now for 7 years, so I'm ready to just kind of dip my toe into, what does it feel like to offer plants in this way to others. And if you are interested in a session like that, head over to my website, cultofthedivine.com, and I'll leave a link below. And I look forward to meeting with you all